wind howled through the dense forest that surrounded Whispering Pines, a remote town known for its secrets and eerie atmosphere. That night, a full moon cast unsettling shadows as I received a phone call that would thrust me into a mystery I could hardly fathom. The caller, Emily Donovan, was frantic as she pleaded for my help. Her husband, Daniel Donovan, had vanished under mysterious circumstances within the confines of their own home. As I navigated the winding forest paths towards the Donovan cottage, I couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. Disappearances were exceedingly rare in Whispering Pines, and this case was peculiar from the start. Upon my arrival, Emily's tearful eyes met mine and she said, "Detective Hartley, thank you for coming," as she ushered me into their dimly lit living room where the scent of burning candles filled the air. The room felt heavy, shrouded in an inexplicable tension. The Donovan cottage, a quaint and centuries-old abode, had an eerie atmosphere that sent shivers down my spine. As Emily recounted the events leading up to her husband's disappearance, I noted that there was no sign of forced entry, no hint of a struggle. It was as though Daniel Donovan had simply vanished from existence, leaving behind an open window and a chilling breeze that whispered secrets of the night. My initial examination yielded more questions than answers. The enigma deepened when I discovered a collection of books on folklore and the occult strewn across their coffee table. It was as if Daniel had been delving into the darker aspects of Whispering Pines in his final days. Driven by an urge to understand, I ventured into the Whispering Pines woods, guided only by the moonlight. I needed to see what had consumed Daniel's thoughts in the days leading up to his disappearance, the mysterious shack hidden deep within the forest. The forest was dense with gnarled trees that seemed to reach out like bony fingers. After hours of searching, I stumbled upon a clearing that held the shack, a decrepit structure worn down by time and nature. It exuded an eerie energy, and I felt that I stood on the precipice of the unknown. Upon entering the shack, I was met with a nightmarish scene. The walls bore bizarre symbols, and shelves were laden with peculiar artifacts. Books, some ancient and others more contemporary, were filled with cryptic writings and drawings of supernatural creatures. One book, in particular, drew my attention. An enormous leather-bound tome open to a page describing a ritual that promised hidden truths and unimaginable power. While I combed through the shack, I couldn't help but wonder if Daniel Donovan had summoned forces beyond his control in his quest for knowledge. As I lost myself in my investigation, Emily Donovan was conducting her search for answers. She had become consumed by her husband's obsession, hoping to uncover the truth behind his disappearance. It was during one of her late-night searches that she made a shocking discovery. In the attic of their home, Emily found a hidden compartment containing Daniel's diary. Its pages were filled with his increasingly frantic writings, detailing his encounters with shadowy figures in the woods and his fears that his mind was no longer his own. The diary contained his belief that the shack held the key to unraveling the mysteries that had haunted him. Emily's determination led her to the forest clearing, where the shack stood. There, she arrived just as I was deeply engrossed in deciphering the ritual described in the leather-bound tome. It promised to unveil the forest's secrets and the enigmatic beings that resided within. The ritual required specific incantations and the use of a pendant, an artifact that I believed was at the core of Daniel's fixation. Little did I know that Emily's arrival would alter the course of our investigation. She watched in silence as I continued with the ritual, unaware of the fear and trepidation that consumed her. The shack seemed to come alive as the incantations filled the air, the symbols on the walls glowing ominously. It was as if the shack was summoning something from the depths of the Whispering Pines woods. A figure materialized before us, its form shifting and indistinct. It emanated an otherworldly aura, and its eyes held a malevolent intelligence. It was one of the shadowy beings Daniel had written about in his diary, a creature from the depths of Whispering Pines. The creature communicated in a voice that seemed to resonate within our minds, revealing that it had been drawn to our ritual's power. It offered knowledge and insight into the mysteries of the forest, but demanded a steep price in return, the sacrifice of one of our souls. Temptation hung heavily in the air, and I hesitated, torn between my thirst for answers and the fear of the unknown. Emily, on the other hand, pleaded with me to resist the creature's offer, to protect our souls from the dire consequences of our actions. But it was too late. The ritual had already set its wheels in motion, and the shack was consumed by a malevolent force. It was as though the forest itself had come alive, and the shadows danced around us, closing in. I realized the gravity of our situation, the unfathomable danger we had unleashed. The secrets of Whispering Pines were never meant to be revealed, and our reckless pursuit of knowledge had unleashed something beyond our control. As I grappled with the consequences of our actions, Emily Donovan made a fateful decision. With unwavering determination, she reached into her bag and pulled out a pendant that had been handed down through generations of her family. It was an artifact of great significance, one that had been used to ward off the very creatures we had summoned. With a resolute spirit, Emily recited an incantation passed down through her family's lineage, a counter to the ritual we had performed. The shack shook violently, the symbols on the walls writhing in agony. The creature before us let out an otherworldly wail, its form dissipating into the darkness. In that moment, Emily Donovan's sacrifice and her family's knowledge had saved us from the malevolent forces we had awakened. The shack crumbled, its dark secrets buried once more beneath the Whispering Pines. Our harrowing experience had revealed the true nature of Whispering Pines. The forest held ancient, otherworldly entities that defied comprehension. Our pursuit of knowledge had come at a great cost, and Emily Donovan's bravery had spared us from a fate worse than death. As we left the forest that night, our hearts heavy with the weight of our actions, we knew that the mysteries of Whispering Pines would remain shrouded in darkness. The secrets of the forest were not meant to be uncovered, and our journey had taught us that some enigmas were best left untouched, some shadows better left unexplored.